the following. Mark it, vertical, switch it, vertical. That's all you had to worry about. If they lined up and they matched the tick mark, they're equal. If they did not match the tick mark, if one had it and one did not, they were supplementary. Excuse me. Now, could I have put tick marks for the other four angles? Yeah. The ones without tick marks are still going to be congruent to one another. The only reason why I just put one tick mark in was just so the fact it didn't get messy in the diagram. That's it. It's the only reason why we did that. So what happened here is that we actually worked through and solved all the different types of angles that you can have with two parallel lines cut by a transversal. This can get long-winded with a lot of definitions and stuff like that, so what I want to do today is just kind of really easily just talk about what all the different angles are, do a little bit of algebra and cut you guys loose. First hour I think had about 15 minutes, and I think every single person finished their homework. There wasn't much to get for today, okay? Yes, sir? No, we're adding to it, so I'm going to use some examples here and there and go from that, okay? So, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, have all seen these before. At some point in time, you guys have all done parallel lines cut by transversals where you guys had the different angle pair relationships. Alternate interior, alternate exterior, all those things. You've heard those before, right?
How was yours?
It was great. How was yours?
Great. It was pretty
Good.
What are you
Pleasure.
What do you
Pleasure. Myself.
That's scary.
What? Why would I?
Miss Murphy, guess what?
No, it's like you're kind of like Junkins, and Junkins dressed up for fashion.
Don't assume you'll make an angle side out of you and
Mr.
me.
Murphy, guess what I'm going to be for Halloween?
I don't know.
I'm going to be Ellen DeGeneres.
You're gonna be what? Did you go to the luggage or like
What's that?
Did you go to the luggage? It was really fun.
So angle types. We have 4 of them today.
Are we writing this down?
Yeah, we're going to define 4 things. So, alternate interior angles. Gee, will these be inside the 2 lines or outside the 2 lines, you think?
Outside.
Because of the word interior.
Oh.
Alternate means they switch sides of this, what's called the transversal. Alternate interior angles are ones that are on opposite sides on the inside. Think of it this way. Easy way to remember it, opposite sides. On the inside. It's the easiest way to do it. Opposite side, inside. Okay. What? They're on opposite sides of that transversal, on the inside of the lines. I think it's the easiest way to do it. I could give you the long-winded definition if you want.
Opposite side inside.
Yeah. What's that?
Doesn't make sense.
What do you mean doesn't make sense?
Opposite side inside.
They're on
Yeah.
the opposite sides and they're inside.
Don't get yet.
He said it's from. Sorry.
It's okay. Think about it. When we had our stuff,
The element would go away.
guys, I know. When we had our stuff last week, those arrows mean that they are parallel, okay? The easiest way to mark through when we did this, you notice that you only really had 2 different angle measures. The other ones were just repeated themselves through. We started here, did a vertical, switched sides, and did a vertical. And you guys notice that these 2 guys were in the same position. These 2 guys were in the same position. These 2 just jumped across the transversal. That's where the opposite side, inside, comes from. Okay? That's why I say it that way. So you get your alternate interior angles. When you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, those guys will always be congruent. Okay. There's two sets. There's this set, and then there's obviously the other set. Okay. Like I said, this is going to be pretty darn easy today. Real quick, we will test out of all this stuff either Thursday or Friday, depending upon how far we get through. There's a couple of proof things that I would like to try and do with these. They're actually really easy proofs to work with, believe it or not. There's not a lot of craziness. When I say test stuff, I'm looking at basically everything we've done in chapter 2 after like the converse, inverse, contrapositive stuff. So a lot of those segment things through the quiz that you guys did great on, and then into this algebra and stuff like that we're going through. Okay, we'll go from there. Next one we'll have are called alternate exterior. Gee, where do you think these are going to be?
On the outside.
They're on the outside. Are they going to be on the same side of the transversal or the opposite side, do you think? Opposite. So what happens here is that you've got opposite sides on the outside. Here, and here, there, and there. Opposite side. On the outside. And lo and behold, if the parallel lines are cut by a transversal, those are also going to be congruent. So let's work this out. Alternate interior. Alternate exterior. Bless you. The easiest one, did I go to a clean one? Is called corresponding. Easiest way to show you guys this one is to number them. Corresponding angles are just angles that are in the same position. So angle 2 has the same position as what angle of the 4 below it? 2 and what? 6. 2 and 6 correspond to one another. They're in the same position on the lines. Okay. 1 corresponds to what?
5.
Good. So 1 and 5 correspond. 2 and 6 correspond.
4 and 8 correspond. 3 and 7 correspond. I'm good at this.
Oh, look, someone's here.
How are you?
Okay,
I'm
good, guys.
They come through the whole series.
I know.
I said hi.
For the first time in
Sorry. Okay. So corresponding angles are just in same position. Top left, bottom left, and so on. Okay. Same position. Angles are in the same position. Gee, what do you think? Congruent or not congruent? Again, if you follow through, you'll get all of that too. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
How is this? Okay.
Is this starting to remember some sort of familiarity?
I've never looked at it.
Really?
It's not familiar to me at all.
I swear you guys did this in like 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah.
6 or 7,
I
9 miscarriage.
I don't even remember my whole middle school. I think it was when I was in
I
math.
just joking. Yeah, I'm good at this.
I swear. Alright. And then the last one are called consecutive interior.
In sector?
Hmm?
Did you say in sector?
Oh, consecutive interior.
Interior.
Insector, interior. I can see the resemblance,
Yeah.
or hear the resemblance, excuse me. Consecutive interior, same side, inside. Same side, inside. These two angles will not be congruent, but they will be supplementary. If they're supplementary, they add up to equal how much? 180. Okay. So when we start thinking about all the things we've done, like just those, 6 problems you guys had to do the other day, when you were marking through your diagram, you were actually picking out the different type of angle pair relationships. You were looking at setting that up without knowing what they were called. So we have alternate exterior, here's corresponding. Something like that. And then consecutive interior. Same side, inside. Okay. That's what they're looking at. So if you go back to the ones you guys did, if you went back and look at what you guys did, 60 and angle 1 are what type of angles? 60 and angle 1. What is it? Alternate interior. That's why they were equal to each other. 60 and angle 2 would be what? Consecutive interior. That's why they added up to 180. That's why this stuff worked. 120 and the 2. What would those be? Corresponding. Very good. Same position. Top left, top left. Now, what about 120 and the 1?
Alternate.
If they're interior, they'd be between the lines. These are exterior because on the outside. So these are alternate exterior. Okay? 80 and the 1. Yes, sir. Not necessarily. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, that was something different. That was something different. That didn't really have anything to do with the angle stuff. Okay. What about 80 and 1 on 7 there? What are those?
Those are consecutive.
Very good. Consecutive interior. Same side, inside. What about 56 and 1? What are those?
Those are alternate.
56 and 1.
Those are alternate.
Nope.
Exterior.
Nope.
Corresponding. Those are not.
Nope. They're vertical, guys.
Those are. Oh, yeah.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes, sir.
Next.
What's that? I don't. Okay. Guys, remember, that can just be plain old vertical. Okay. Angles 1 and angle 2 are alternate exterior. 56 and 2 would be corresponding.
Yeah.
All right. 117 and 1. Corresponding. Okay. That's why they were equal to each other. Same spot. Okay. That's why this stuff works. It is relatively straightforward. Where's the one? But algebraically, sometimes you get other things. sometimes you have to solve for x, and when you solve for x, you have to figure out what the angle pair relationship is to decide whether or not you're going to set them equal to each other or have them be supplementary. So I'm looking at the problem, that 100 and the x minus 10, are those going to be congruent or are those going to be supplementary? Why? What's the angle pair? No. If they were alternate, yeah, they're corresponding. Those two guys are corresponding. Notice how they're both in the top right? Top right, top right? Those would be corresponding. That's why you can do this. What's x? Huh? Alright. Figure out the angle pair. Oops. Do these two. Take a minute, figure those two out.
Is that 21 and 22?
Not on your sheet though. It's a different one. Yeah. Figure out those. Solve for x. Figure it out. There's a couple of ways of going about it.
We're gonna see if they're going.
Figure out. Don't forget, if you have not bought a calculator, you're going to probably want to have one soon.
This Friday's test number 2.
Gee, what angle pair relationship is that?
Alternate interior.
Alternate interior, yes. So they have to be equal. Two-step algebra. Some of you guys think that's 2 steps too many. Did you get 15? Yay! Okay. Next one, we have the 102 to vertical, alternate interior, and vertical. Do those guys match up? No, they don't. They don't match up. So that means they have to be what? If they don't match up with tick marks, what happens? Supplementary, yeah. They become supplementary. Remember, guys, there's only 2 different angle measures with these things. If it matches with a tick mark, they're going to be the same. If one has a tick mark and the other one doesn't, they have to be supplementary, no matter what. Because here, if I put the 102 here, these 2 angles form a line. If I put the 102 here, these 2 angles form a line. It has to work that way. So you just write it out. 2x and 12 and 102 is 180. Now, what some people did first hour is they just figured out what the supplementary angle is to 102 and use that. It does the same thing, works the same way. Then you'd set it equal to that angle. Subtract that over, I believe you get 66. You should get 33. Okay. Relatively straightforward, I'm hoping. Yes, sir. We can do these as proofs? Well, what will happen with something like this with the proof is that you'll be able to use, I think a lot of times what you're going to get at are going to be, you know, proving that something is parallel. And you can do this by working backwards. If your alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. We can do stuff like that. I'm not going to do that today. We'll talk about that tomorrow. These 4 types of angles that we're looking at, we will put them in a progression, but it's not a really difficult one. It's actually really easy. Okay. We'll worry about that tomorrow. Try to make it easy again today at least. Sometimes you have bigger pictures. 2 sets of parallel lines. Oh, I know, dude. It's crazy, man. It's actually a parallelogram. Parallelograms have both sets of opposite sides parallel, so you get a lot of different angle stuff that happens. We actually have a whole unit on quadrilaterals later on, and we'll talk all about this again, because this does show back up. One of my suggestions when you have something that looks like this is that you don't try to do all of it at once. After you draw your picture out, cover up most of the problem and just work with one little chunk at a time. For example, if I do this, I'm only looking at one angle. I have 2 parallel lines and a transversal. These 2 angles are on the same side on the inside, which means if I do this, they're not going to line up. What's 3 have to be? It has to be 100, because they're consecutive interior. You okay with that?
Yes. No. No. It's supposed to be supplementary.
If you are on the same side on the inside, you're supplementary. Supplementary means you add to 180. There you go. 180 minus 80 is? Same deal. Go this way. 2 parallel lines. Transversal. Again, they didn't match up, did they? They're consecutive interior, which means angle 1 is 100. Which means 2 has to be 80. One of the things that we talk, yes sir?
So you know how you put the same ones so that they room?
Yeah.
And just like how so outside of the 2 points.
Yeah.
So you put the line. So those 2 lines.
Yeah, yes, yep. Yeah. Good question, Gary. He was asking why do these 2 lines have double arrows? It's just showing that they're not parallel to those, but they're parallel to each other. You'll see the double arrows a lot of times if there's more than one set of lines. Good pickup. One of the things about a parallelogram, opposite angles are always congruent. Gee, isn't that what we have? Angles across from one another are congruent. It's crazy how that works. Consecutive interior angles in a parallelogram, ones that are next to each other, are always supplementary. Gee, don't we have that? That's where all this stuff comes from. Yay, math. Sometimes FY did not show up. That was a lie. What's that?
Is that like upside down R?
It's kind of like an upside down R. What that is more of a diagram that you'll start to see where you're not going to see 2 lines completely drawn out. You'll just have portions you'll have parts of lines. You'll have rays, segments. In this case, we have segments and rays, and a triangle in there and everything. A lot of little things that can happen. But it still shows that those 2 parts are parallel. Now, if those 2 parts are parallel, I'll let you guys draw it. When you draw this, it's not that bad. You just go straight down, go up, make a triangle, and do this. That's all it is. Excuse me. One of the things you can do right off the bat is see if you remember how many degrees are in a triangle. Do you remember that? It is. It's 180 degrees. So if I have an 85 and a 45, what's left for the angle that doesn't have anything written in it? 50. Very good. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, not with this one.
You guys all know about the triangle, right? 180. So this gives us 50. Now, one of the things I want you guys to start to see, if you have diagrams like this, sometimes it's easier just to bring this out further. So now you know that you have your parallels. 85 is in the, if you tilt your head sideways, isn't that the top right? Isn't the y in the same spot? What's y? 85. 85, 50, and what creates a line?
45.
Right. What's that? We don't say that there's something. The triangle sum is always underneath. Always. So that means what? That's all that is. You get these smaller chunk diagrams, you just have to build out of them. That's all. Try that one. Huh. Take a second to figure out that one. Oh, maybe not. All right. It's like a house. What shape is that?
Not a house.
It's not a house.
What kind of house do you live in?
It's
That's a trap. That's a trap.
Wait, no.
Trapezoid.
A trapper, what? A trapper keeper? No. What is that called? You're right with the trap part. It is a
Trap house.
Trap house?
The trap
He said it was a trap. It's not a trap house.
The trapezoid. Trapezoids have just one set of parallel lines. Okay? And like I said, we do a whole chunk on shapes later on.
You're gonna call me dumb for asking this, but what are those black things?
What do you think they are?
Do they mean like a parallel?
There you go. Okay.
That's what I was figuring. I just
Suppose.
Like,
I guess.
okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys.
So smooth. Hey guys.
Okay, so next week, the school play starts on Thursday through Saturday, and if you bring your student ID, it's free, and it's a good show.
Wait,
so
what is it?
come see it.
Was it Midsummer Night's Dreams?
Yeah, it's Shakespeare, but we're updating it and making it in the 60s, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
What is it?
It's next Thursday through Saturday, and it's free if you bring your student ID. Not for you, Mr. Brown, you have to pay, sorry. Here, it's here in the auditorium.
When? Like what time?
So yeah, all the shows start at 7 o'clock. Cool. Let's get back to geometry.
So, thank you. The if you have a flyer or something, I'll throw it on my window. It's fine.
I didn't bring it.
Just bring So when we set this one up, guys, when we set this one up, how do you solve for x? Two parallel lines cut by a transversal. And here's one of the cool things that happens. Since these two lines are parallel to one another, what do all 8 of those angles have to be?
90.
90. If one of these is 90, this has to be 90, which means this is 90, which means this is 90, which means this is 90. They're all 90.
It's a square.
Yeah. Whenever you have parallel lines and one angle is 90 degrees, the rest of them are 90 degrees. They have to be because of all the rules. Alternate exterior, both of those would be 90, which means both the interiors would be 90, which means the consecutive interiors would be supplementary, because last time I checked, 90 plus 90 is
90.
and so on. So this one here, we just do this. 2x equals 90. X is?
45.
All right. Solving for y is a little bit different. They're on the same side on the inside, so they have to add up to equal how much?
Wait.
180. So 3y and 6y. What's y? Bless you.
Oh, how much is this do?
What's why? Huh? What? Come on, you guys supposed to this in your head. Okay.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want
Yes, sir.
How is the student safety?
They are consecutive interiors. Two parallel lines cut by a transversal. Same side, inside. That's why a lot of times we overextend our lines to show that we see where things are coming from. Okay. That's where that comes from. Okay.
You good?
What's that?
You good?
I'm all right. There's some in my eye, but oh well. Ah.
Actually, can I get those guys?
Go ahead and solve that one and we'll call it a day. Pro model. Wow. That is fancy pants. This one does dip intervals. Pretty sweet.
No, they don't.
You don't even know what it is.
When are you minus? I think it's Dodge's number.
Oh. It does stuff like this. Here's what that means. That's the perfect. Zero, 6.
It's Thursday for Saturday.
Hit energy as well. Well, oh, I didn't rip it. I didn't do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't rip it. It's called an interval. You use it a lot in stats. Yes, sir. So, guys, when you write this out, did these match up?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Never.
Look again. Did
No,
they
they
match up?
No.
They didn't match up, so what are they? They're obviously supplementary. There's no angle pair relationship that gets me to that. Okay? So they're supplementary, so these two have to add up to equal 180. What sometimes people will do is know that the supplement of 50 is 130, and they'll do that. Works the same way. So you have 3x plus 30 is 180.
This is the first time I've seen
Oh, not 30, it's 20.
Yeah.
Is that right, 20?
Doofus.
Yeah. So 3x will equal 150. X is fixed. Yeah.
God, I actually get it.
So on your sheet from last night, I'd like you guys to do 11:22. Okay? Go ahead and finish those out, 11 and 22. My suggestion, you have diagrams right there. Make the tick marks through the angles. That way if they match up, you know they're equal. If they don't,
11 through 22 or 11
Yeah.
and 22?
11 through 22. You should be able to get most of that done before you even walk out of here. They're that fast. Yes, sir. Were you absent? Okay. I gotta get stuff back. I'm doing that tomorrow. Okay. I didn't get to it. I forgot. I want you to do this first. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Remind me first thing to make sure I can pass this stuff out. I just forgot to have it out for you today. But I'll get there. I promise. No worries. Okay. Make your tick marks. You'll fly right through it.
Just like basically add and subtract.
So for those of you guys that were out on Friday, pretty easy then, isn't it?